want you to hit me as hard as you can.
We'll tear your soul apart.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Now the dream is over. It's acted away.
All right, let's talk about Longlegs for a few minutes. Chris, you've seen it most recently. You wanna start it out? Like, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I freaking loved it. I mean, everything in it is just kind of right up my alley. I mean, a lot of it's, I think, up most of our alleys, but just the
It's up something of mine.
but just the kind of murder mystery thing and then the supernatural thing. I mean, I don't know. Are we spoiling, I guess, if we're talking about it? But
yeah, let's just talk about it.
I assume so.
I just wanted to
It's been a couple of weeks, so like,
yeah. So if you haven't seen it, spoilers. But yeah, just the whole like devil demonic tinge behind it just is all just kind of right up my alley. So just like the way it's shot, the way everything looks. I mean, it's like Josh said it. Like I get such like Hereditary vibes from it. That
Word Hereditary, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about Hereditary a lot when I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just like it's I think purposely vague throughout it. It's kind of like is she autistic or I don't know what she is. She's
sure seemed like it, didn't it?
Yeah, she's definitely got some kind of thing. But it's like, is she clairvoyant? She's not really clairvoyant. She's they set up all this stuff and then it all just kind of clicks at the end.
And it all kind of ties back to her. So
yeah,
it has to do with her. So yeah.
So I mean, I heard people say that it asks all these questions and then like leaves so many questions unanswered. Like, well, no, it answers pretty much everything. Just
I didn't see anything unanswered.
Yeah, just everything about it. Loved it, and I think I saw it in a mostly empty theater, like late at night.
Jealous of that
by myself. So I mean, I had the whole like front of Alamo Draft House to myself, like and a couple people behind me, but like they were quiet. So just all the little setups of like, can't remember exactly when she's in there, like her house, and she's like talking to her mom, but like they're showing like behind her a little bit, like everything's so well done. It's like something's gonna pop up behind her.
Everything's framed like you're looking at an empty doorway, like there's all this negative space, like something is gonna happen.
We've all watched so many movies that it does such a good job of playing at that tension and expectation that and also everybody's talking about how unsettling it is, and that's
very
I love the whole tone of
everything you said. Yeah,
go
I
ahead,
love the demonic demonology, the kind of the weird numerology. I mean, I was trying to figure things out that maybe shouldn't have been tried to be figured out, but I mean, I was seeing things. I felt like I was kind of like seeing things in the movie that spoke to me specifically somehow. And then Randy's like, no, that wasn't in there, and Josh is kind of like, yeah, I like this part. So I feel like it sort of reaches us all on our own level somehow. It's an odd movie. And I love Micah Monroe in this movie. I mean, sometimes like the last movie I watched, God is a Bullet, like she's a great actress, but some things I think she shouldn't do. And this movie is like exactly where she fits best. Like awkward, odd. It was cool.
I loved her in God is a Bullet, by the way.
Did you watch that too?
Yeah. It was fucking awesome, dude. She was badass in that movie. I liked the tattoos. I liked all of it. They looked fake as shit. They didn't do a good job.
They looked like a shirt or like airbrushed.
Yeah, like I didn't think the application was a good job, but I liked the way she looked. Because I went into that one thinking I wasn't gonna like it because you had told me like, hey man, be careful with this one. You may not dig that. And so I kind of went in a little cautious. Maybe that's probably why I received it so well, because I was like, tiptoeing in, like, am I gonna like this?
Overhype it, yeah.
Yeah, and I watched it, and I really like the Jamie Lannister fella. I like that dude just in general. I just think he's I don't know. I like him. And but with Longlegs, Josh, did you send us a video breakdown of that, or am I tripping?
I sent a podcast about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I have a video that I'm going to send to you guys because when I watched it, it's like 20 minutes long. It answered every question I had, and I was like, holy shit, everything makes so much sense now. Like, it was amazing. This dude broke it down, and he's like, this was because of that. And it was like, the guy is very sure of himself, and none of it seemed like, sometimes you get a guy that like will talk about stuff, and they sound confident, but when you listen to them, you're like, yeah, you sound confident, but you also sound like you don't know what you're talking about.
But it's very interpretive. Like, this is how
this dude was like, no, man, the reason they did this is because of this. And then he gave examples, and I was like, oh, holy shit. And then he broke down the fact that, like, what's the idea of the whole movie? Like, what's going on in this movie? And the whole idea is there is nothing going on in the movie. The devil is just playing with this girl and having a good time. And it just answered stuff that I was thinking about. And when he said it, I was like, oh my goodness. And so I need to go watch it again because my second viewing was a terrible experience. And that's what's sitting on my head right now is this last experience. So if I don't get to watch it again before the theater, I will just figure out a way to own this movie because I'm going to watch it. I would probably watch this movie another 2 or 3 times before I get sick of it. It was so slow the first time I watched it that I wasn't sure if I wanted to watch it again. And then on a second viewing, since you know how it's paced, you can go in there fully ready for that kind of pacing. And I think that is incredibly important for a movie like this. You need to watch it more than once because the first time you watch it, you don't know what to expect most likely. And so it could be an odd experience. Well, it's supposed to be. So now you get to go in there with a different lens and start just breaking things apart and examining scenes. And if you're at home, you can pause shit, look something up on Google because I like to do that. I don't know if you guys are into that or not, but I'll be watching a movie and I'll literally pause something and get out my phone and start Googling stuff. And sometimes I'll be doing it for so long that literally my Amazon thing will turn back to the home screen and I'm like, fuck, I got to go back to the movie.
I'm usually like, oh, who composed this score? Like, who shot this?
I do stupid crap like deep dives into like theory about stuff, but it's typically about not stuff this deep.
Yeah.
So with a movie like this, this is an onion, man. You're going to be peeling back layers for days and days and days. And so I think it's a testament to this movie's greatness that we all like it. That's crazy that you all 4 of us really like it this much. That is a rare thing, and I that means a lot to me. So when there's a movie that we all 4 fuck with like this, it's an important movie to me for that reason, amongst many others.
Just the fact that it was so like overly hyped, it had all this like scariest movie ever, and like all this
panic attack
stuff behind us, like. I don't know what to expect because I don't want to get excited about it. Like I know Clay was getting all excited about it. Like I don't want to put any expectation on it. But man, like it completely exceeded any expectation I had for it. So like, man, that is kind of special.
Clay had me running for the fucking other direction, man, because you kept talking about it, and I was like, dude, stop! It's the first time in forever that I haven't even. Like I watched the trailer once and I didn't even know what I was watching. So you guys brought it up and I didn't even know what it was the first time y'all brought it up. And I was like, oh, it's got Nicolas Cage, this horror movie. This is a rare occasion here.
And
I don't want to
hiding him too.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about him.
And the only reason that I was like, stop to Hugh is not because I didn't want to hear it. It's because I was like, man, I'm going to get really stoked. I don't want to be excited about this because I don't want to get let down because Nick Cage is my dude. And like, I honestly prefer Micah Monroe in this movie over Nicolas Cage probably by like 3 or 4 times. It was that her performance was perfection and his was like
did you listen to the podcast I sent?
No, that's why I couldn't remember. I thought I had run across it with that other video. I didn't realize a podcast. This one was thank you, because this one, the one that I watched was so well made that I was like, oh, this must be the thing Josh sent me. And so I didn't realize
it was like a discussion. It was a discussion about the movie.
Okay.
And then they talked about like serial killer movies in general. And then like the last like 40 minutes of it is an interview with the director.
Okay.
So not to bring up more interviews with the directors and be a broken record, but it's a fascinating. I thought it was a really fascinating interview. Like he was very forthcoming about his whole ideas. And this guy is also the son of Anthony Perkins.
Isn't that wild?
Who played, Psycho.
Yeah.
So Like he has a lot of baggage for this type of stuff. Like he's a horror movie director. Like that's no accident.
That's crazy.
He was saying that he didn't want the serial killer to be a hero. Like every serial killer is like eulogized as like so cool.
Well,
Hannibal Lecter's so cool, and he wanted him to be like.
I mean,
like
the David Fincher of like Seven and Psycho, and they're these mysterious like geniuses. He was like, demythologizing this whole landscape. Like everybody listens to serial killer podcasts. That's like the most popular thing on Netflix and podcasting and stuff. And he's like, these guys are losers.
Yeah,
they're just. This guy is just like, he was playing his guitar and the devil came out of it. He was just some dumbass that like got caught up with some devil shit.
Metal culture.
He's not a smart person. He's just an idiot. He's a crazy person, a hair metal guy. It's like,
I can't wait to listen to this podcast, and I hope you listen to the one that I send y'all, because they explain the cuckoo thing. And I didn't know that was there was a like very specific reason that they went with the cuckoo thing. There was a very specific reason that his face looked like that. And this guy blew my mind, bro. It made me like the movie 5 times more.
Well, his face looks like that because it's a bunch of like botched plastic surgery.
Yeah, but I didn't fucking know that. I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't know anything about the character, so I didn't know. I knew that he was wearing makeup because he was like he was like an old butt rocker guy. Like I knew that,
right?
But I didn't know that like he had a bunch of botched plastic surgeries. It just never even occurred to me. I thought maybe he did it to himself.
Almost every line he has is some like stupid, line from a 70s rock song,
Right.
So stupid. And that's why I was so conflicted when we walked out. I was like, I don't know how I feel about any of that. Like that's like why I said it. I was like, I'm not sure if I liked it or not, because I feel like there was a reason for it, but it was weird. It was like it wasn't cool, right?
And I think that was by design, because he was
exactly.
Like he had passed his cool up, and he's like an aging rock star that's no longer a rock star, or maybe he was an attempted rock star. But like
I worry about that with my look a little bit. Like, am I just gonna look like a haggard old?
We all are gonna look like haggard old people. That's why they're called haggard old people.
Should I grow my hair long again and just let it?
Well,
fuck no, dude, don't do that.
I'm the one who's got a ponytail in his beard, so it is what it is.
You can't see my ponytail.
It's your groin hair.
Yeah. But I was really bothered by the Hail Satan stuff in the movie, right? That shit just does. I hate it. I just don't like it. And Tool, and I'm still not like excited about it, but I'm less bothered by it now because it just never occurred to me that the whole movie was like the whole story is Satan puppeteering these people. And I was like, once I realized that that's what was going on, I was like, oh, wait a minute. He's saying that because it's Satan. It's not him saying it. He's not trying to be like, he's not trying to be edgy by saying it. It's literally the devil being like, I'm here, people. And like, I don't know, man. It's And then like the whole time he just wanted to set up Micah Monroe so she could blow her mom away. And it's like, it's just all this stuff. It's like, that makes that, because there's a few things that happened in this movie that I just didn't understand why they were happening. Like I knew that it was gonna happen.
Yeah,
I just didn't understand why. And then when this dude breaks it all down, I was like, man, I think I need to watch podcasts like this, or not podcasts, whatever. This dude talking. I want to start. You guys will hate this, but I want to start watching shit like this before I even see the movie. I don't want to go to a movie not understanding anything. Dude, I hate that. Like, it drives me nuts. I don't care about being surprised because there is nothing that's going to surprise me. I don't get surprised in movies. I would rather go in knowing like what the story is about. Like I the other day I went and I was going to watch something and I literally Googled like the whole synopsis and was like, you know what? I'm not going to even try to figure this shit out. I'm just going to watch this first. And I watched like a 5-minute video, and the whole movie, I was like, oh, thank God I watched that because I understand what's going on. And it's probably because I don't watch movies the same way as everybody else. So I just, it's not fun for me to be like in there, like, fuck, I don't know why this is happening. I'd rather just know. But
I love the mystery of it. I want to try and figure it out for myself first, and like see how I interpret it in my brain, and then I'll go watch something and be like, oh, okay.
Okay, well, how often are you right whenever you're speculating in a movie?
I mean, it depends, but I mean, sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not.
I
Like,
feel like I'm constantly wrong, which is why I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'd rather just know. But I also don't care about spoilers. Like, you can tell me the whole movie and I don't give a shit. A, I'm gonna forget anyways. B, I just simply don't care. Like, it doesn't ruin a movie for me.
Sure.
I am mindful of other people though. Like at the theater when
Yeah.
I'm working, I hate it when people do that shit because you can tell it bothers people. So like, I wouldn't want to do that to somebody. But you know, this weekend, you know, oh god,
Yeah.
it's gonna be crazy.
I really want to watch the movie again, knowing, you know, how it ends, and so seeing it through the lens of understanding it better.
Yeah.
I just haven't had time, but I don't know. I really like it. I don't know if I love it yet. I have
do.
to get another.
I'm
I
on the
have to
love
get
it
another
plane.
viewing. Like the stuff with the dolls, I don't know if that works for me.
Wait until you watch this video.
Okay.
That's one of the things that it made. He explains it, and I was like, and again, dude, I don't know if he's right or not, but it made me happy, and I was like, that's awesome, dude. Like, I needed this explanation. Hope I can find that fucking video. I'll go through all my history and find it.
Yeah, send it to me for sure. Do you guys have an interpretation of that? Because it just felt kind of random.
Well, it was. I mean, it's all a. It's just a tool. It's a tool.
The doll's like a Trojan horse. Yeah.
I get it. It's I don't necessarily have to have everything make sense for me to enjoy something. Yeah. Carissa prefers things to make like logical sense when she's watching the movie, right? I don't care. I just wanted to. Is that the reason? So if I can know the reason, then it's fine with me. I either like it or I don't. But I don't get hung up on like, well, it didn't make a lot of sense because most movies that I watch don't make a lot of sense. So, but to me, I can't remember what the dude was saying. I remember when I heard him say it, I was like, oh, I like that. And you know,
how many people are just going to accept a full-size doll into their house and be like, this is cool?
Back in the 80s from a church, probably a lot.
But I think
I gotta watch it.
Well, I think it all ties back into the devil possession. I think it has some sort of, you know,
well, the dolls are powered by the devil, and they get brought into the house, and you know what's weird is that like the whole time Micah Monroe's looking for this dude, and he was literally like underneath the floor in her own house. Like that's fucking insane. Like
as soon as she went to the house, I knew that was what was going on.
Oh, dude, that shit was so scary when I realized what was going on. I was like, wow. I was like, that is scary. This movie I didn't really feel like it was a horror movie per se. I think it probably is. It just didn't feel like that to me. But that part, when I realized that was going on, I was like, oh, that's terrifying. And then like the reason that she was having all these things happen is because that doll was in her house still. So that's what was giving her those powers to halfway guess shit and kind of have an idea what was going on. She was being led that way. It was all a game from the jump. The whole thing was a game. From the jump of that movie, it's a game. And you just don't know it's a game till the end. And you're like, oh shit, this is all just a fun exercise for the devil to do. And be like, look what I can do. I can make you kill her. I can make you kill these people. They're making these dudes act like this. It's genius to me. The more I learn about it, the more I'm flabbergasted about this movie, bro.
Well, the same thing goes for whoever her boss was for the FBI, right? And that is why they let the dolls into the house. Because I mean, he was I interpreted he was possessed by the doll the entire time. You know, the doll gets brought in to them
the whole time,
the entire time of the movie. Like that's
why. Wait. Hold on. What?
The her boss for the FBI that she gets invited into their house, which is super weird. The little girl invites them to her birthday party. You know, all this stuff is happening that's inherently like kind of weird.
Yeah, because that girl already had the doll in their home.
Interpret it as because the doll was in their house the entire time.
That's right. So
the whole sequence of events from the movie, that guy is under, you know, whatever spell of the devil.
Yeah, it was orchestrated before
it's all being set up by the devil to bring her in. So I said that's why they let the dolls in the house, is because the dolls are possessing them too.
That's also another thing that I think the guy was saying is like when they show up with the doll, you're already, as soon as that's presented, you're under the spell of it. And it's like, oh, come on in. Yeah, set that over there. Okay, thank you. Okay, see ya. And now you're doing stuff and you don't even know you're doing it. You're just like, and it's like little inconsequential things. You know, you move this over here and you do, all of a sudden you're whacking some dude with an axe. And, you know, it's yeah. I was trying to tell people at the Alamo, like, hey, man, stop with the Silence of the Lambs stuff. It's not the same movie. It doesn't. It didn't.
Silence of the Lambs is like a Trojan horse into a different movie. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's like it leads in with Silence of the Lambs. This is this, you know, like unexperienced FBI agent in over her head and a serial killer mystery. It gives you that trope.
Right. That's a good point.
But it turns into something completely different.
Yeah, I was telling people like, man, it's totally different. It doesn't. I said I'm trying to be vague and not spoil people's time, but I said stop with the Silence of the Lambs talk. You're going to go in there thinking it's going to be this movie, and it's just not. And I was like, they're like, well, what's the big difference? And I'm like, I can't tell you because it'll ruin the movie. And one guy was asking me questions. He was like, hey, look, it was just me and him at the bar. He's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, I said, well, look, I don't want to tell you a bunch of stuff, but I will tell you this: just visually, it is not the same movie, dude. Like, it just doesn't look like it, doesn't feel like it. I was like, it's in the daylight a bunch. There's not a bunch of. I was like, don't talk about Seven. There's no fucking rain. It doesn't, dude.
It's
those
like
movies.
Silence of the Lambs turned into Hereditary. It's tonally so much like Hereditary. It looks like the cinematography is like Hereditary.
I'm gonna have to think about that while I'm watching it again because I
devil shit. There's so much devil shit.
That I guess
about Hereditary, you know, like there's.
I'm a known Hereditary lover, though.
I think it's like very symbolic of like if you believe in a devil, how the devil would work, right?
Symbolism.
You invite something into your home, and suddenly it takes over your thought processes and consumes you.
Oh, it's like very accurate to what really happens out there.
That's a good way to say that. Yeah,
I saw that pretty immediately, but I mean, I thought it was an awesome movie too, man. It strikes all the right chords. It's got some crazy kills in it. It's got the mystery, the codes, it's got it all. So
I've been saying since day one, and I just want this to be on record as much as possible, that in like 5 years, this movie is going to be looked at as a classic. It's going to be a cult classic at minimum. It's going to be revered, and people are going to love it. There's going to be special editions coming out that we're going to buy. That's happening with this movie, bro. It is absolutely.
I did see it again in the theater, and I think the second time around it worked a lot better for me because I already knew what was going to happen.
That's
so I was
exactly what I said. Yeah,
looking at details like the scenery, the situations to try and get a little more out of it. And so I think the second time around, I wasn't like bored or disengaged or any point, but it was kick ass. What's up, man?
I just got an alert. I looked down at it, and it was Skinhead Rob from the Transplants just accepted a request from me, and I'm like, that's crazy. Sorry, I just shocked me. I looked down, and was like, oh, what is that? Man.
Well, I'm glad we all loved it.
The second time around, Hugh, you're so right about that, man. Like I enjoyed it so much more the second time around, and that's not often the case, man. A lot of times you watch a movie, and the first time is like you can't beat that. And then just the first time was awesome, bro. Like when we left the theater, I was like, hell yeah. But the second watch, man.
Well, I'm surprised when Micah Monroe's really coming with the thunder here.
I feel like she's awesome. She's really my new obsession, man.
Yeah, I mean, she made some great little movies early on, kind of low budget stuff, and she really has star power in those movies, I think. But like lately, especially, she's pulling some Jodie Foster action here, like getting pretty crazy, and that God as a bullet. Like I don't think any actress has tried that. Like,
oh, that movie shocked me, bro. That movie was awesome. It was like it was interesting.
Was rough in that movie,
very rough.
And I was like, wow, we went from cop to princess to freaking hardcore junkie. It's just like cult member. It was crazy.
She's got range, no doubt.
Yeah,
they show up to that guy's property, and Jamie Foxx looking all ridiculous, and he's like, you didn't say nothing about tattoos. She's like, sit down, pussy. I was like, dang, bro, chill, man. Like, let him live, dude. She was, man. Yeah, that movie was definitely worth a watch. It's long, dude. It's weird. It's one of the first movies in a long time that was that long that didn't feel that long.
It was super long.
Huh. I'll have to look it up.
Oh, got there.
Well, I'll check it out. Stuff.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Yep. Longlegs. Good movie. And next week, what is it called again, Randy?
Bomb City.
Bomb
BOMBCITY.
All right. Next week, Bomb City.
Awesome.
Let's go.
Later.